I am and what I do. So, I'm American Jewish background artist, raised in New York, college educated, art schooled in the Midwest. I've been in Seattle for 33 years. I worked for the public library for 29, supporting my art career. There's at least one library former co-worker here. Library patron of mine who I knew here, thank you for bringing the WA High School students. So in 1984, a few years into my Seattle years, I had the opportunity to study art in Poland for the summer, which changed the whole course and direction of my art. And a few years after that was in 84, I was in Poland again in 85. And then 5 years later, I don't know where all the noise is from out there. Is the door open? The Warsaw Ghetto uprising was in 1943, and a kind of very short synopsis. By the way, we have a native of Warsaw, Poland here, and lives in Capitol Hill now. There was about 500,000 to 600,000 Jews in the Warsaw Ghetto when the Nazis set it up as a concentration camp. Come closer, please. And kind of a several sentence synopsis of this. Most of those 500,000 to 600,000 Jewish prisoners were murdered in the ghetto or in concentration and death camps. In 1944, a year later, after the Warsaw Ghetto was decimated and all the prisoners, there was what was called the General Uprising in Warsaw, and all of Warsaw was pretty much obliterated. And 1.5 to 2 million non-Jewish Polish people also died at the hands of the Nazis in the war, and somewhere around 3.5 million Polish Jews were murdered. So I had gotten the book out of the library, which had all these black and white photographs taken in the Warsaw Ghetto, many by Nazi soldiers, and I was mesmerized by the photos. And in this trolley car, which said Muranow, which was a street in the Jewish district where the Nazis set up the ghetto, again like a concentration camp. There was a driver, a conductor. In the photograph, he has like a conductor's cap on with like a metal plate in front, and a passenger. So you got a man in like each side there. This little white section here in the photo, which you can look at in internet websites like the Holocaust Museum, he had a Star of David armband on part of the Nazi program of branding Jews and also other political prisoners. What had happened to the trolley. The men, I assumed, who had been murdered, died, perished, but the whiteness evoked like a certain stillness which made me think of death. Why don't you come down closer so you can see what I'm talking about. Everybody towards the end, come down. You don't need to be shy here. Thanks. I want everyone back there to be able to see the drawing. And then I went up to the Burke Museum, like a couple blocks south of here. They have a big ornithology collection, birds' wings. And I made an appointment and I drew one wing. And then I went back a few days, a week later, drew the other wing, spent like a day drawing each wing. My photographer at the time, come closer please, took photographs of the drawing for me. And because it was all black and white, all linear, it reduced really well, like this size. And I looked at it and I said, this looks really good. It ought to be in a book. Why don't I do a whole series, which is how the series began. That was in late 1991. Early 92, I did the second drawing. And the first 14, 15 drawings I did were all black and white. This was done, I guess, 3 years later, 1994. She died in the Warsaw Ghetto. Her niece and great niece The great niece lives in Seattle, who's my age. Her niece lived in Seattle. And the photograph was because her husband had survived and lived in Canada after the war. And I'm going to wait to talk about the wings for another couple of minutes.